I'm Miles. I got the chance to talk to Nirwair Singh, sustainability analyst at Stantec, as well as one of Corporate Night's top 30 under 30 sustainability leaders for 2019, about his work. Here's our conversation. I want to hear from your own perspective what aspect of your leadership and change making experience do people most widely recognize you for?
What I generally try to do, I don't and I'm very new, right? We are very young. We bring a lot of energy, but it's very important when we talk about change. Nobody likes change, right? So even we personally, if we are told sometime just to do things in our non-traditional way, we also feel a little hesitant, right? So what I have been using, or the approach that I've been using, is easygoing, and use the leadership style called servant leadership style. So you kind of serve other people need first before getting to accomplish something that you want to do, right? So first bring on something on the table that at least you can get somebody interested, and what they can get a benefit out of it before revealing that what you want to accomplish. So because at the end we all are humans, right? So it's a human nature that everyone want to see, even if it's for a good cause, like what's in for them. So that's the approach that I have been using mostly, whether it's my personal relationships or my volunteer role with Canada Green Building Council, or my advocacy role with Pace Alberta. Like always, like to start a meeting, or to start, like even like to reach out to somebody, always find out what's interesting to them. But in the back end, I can still achieve my goals as part of that relationship, but always come up with something and do your research and homework that what's in for them. So a servant leadership style is a leadership style where you actually serve people. You kind of come up with things that people can get served, but you can still achieve in a kind of a hidden way your goals. You're still trying to be very open in the conversation, but not just always getting things from people, but also giving back. So that's the kind of thing that I really like, because every relationship is two ways. It's not always one way. Like you are introducing changes, you are making all the advocacy, but at the end, people won't hear you. People will only like to hear you if you provide them a value. So that's the kind of approach I have been using mostly, and I feel it's working. Like even for me to get a job, or to like get people interested to at least listen to me, that always identify their needs.
My second question for you, I want to know if you had to put a finger on a particular group of people that you can identify with. Who would you say your people are, and how exactly would someone else know that these are your people?
I think everybody have that kind of a group, whether in a family or in friends, and I'm not an exception. I believe I come from India, and the culture values and family values are like so embedded in like in my roots. Like the first people I have to ever fall back on will be my parents and my family. That regardless of the fact like what I'm doing, I know in my head like whatever happens, if I even lose everything, they are still there. Like if I need something, if I don't have resources, I don't have, say, something I'm missing, I can't figure it out, I always know I can call my dad, or I can call my mom to discuss and have their support in whatever way I think it can be. So like definitely my family and my friend in my personal relationships that I have in my family are great, and those roots are embedded. Like nothing can take off those things. And the second, like most reliable people, I would say that I can still fall back, are my fellow volunteers. Like I've been doing a lot of advocacy group through Canada Green Building Council, and we did a shared activity, like everybody was volunteering there, and we built a lot of relationships because everybody is volunteering their time and bringing all that knowledge to the table. And when you spend time with people, I think that automatically build relationships and friendships. And uh, I no longer like the current chair of that committee. I just like in December, my role ended, but I still know that the relationship that I built by just doing like a non-for-profit role and leading people and giving them valuable volunteering opportunities did build a lot of trust and those strong relationships that I even have to text somebody and say, hey, can you do this for me, please? Yeah, I know, like they will be there and standing back to me. And then definitely my colleagues at Stantec or my colleagues in other non-for-profits, like it's not always about just getting work done. It's like I always try to like build relationships that even if I don't have anything to talk to them on professional basis, I still have them for a coffee meeting or just like because at the end we're humans, right? Like like every human we build. That's I think a difference between animal and human. We build relationships, right? We value trust. So I think my colleagues at Stantec, like they are awesome. Like we stand by each other even if there is like a challenging role. It's not just about competition. It's like more about like supporting each other and getting up as a team. So I think those small relationships that I've been building, like as part of my journey, are like valuable people whom I can fall back, and people I think see them when I like say do some volunteer opportunities or have to put some event together. Like there are always like people who are there to help me out to progress. I think that's a great way. I can be thankful of all those relationships that they trust me that I'm a good guy, and always extending their hand to mentor me or to navigate me in the right direction so that I can at least do whatever I want to achieve. So I think that's a great thing that I'm relying on people, my family and my volunteers, my colleagues. Like all those people are my people.
Obviously, you are shaped by the people you surround yourself with. What would you consider to be maybe one or two core values that you possess that you can truly say that you at least try to embody on a day-to-day basis?
For me, being generous and humble like are the most important things, and never forget your roots. So I come from a very small village in India where I was the first ever like kid who went to do an engineering school. So and sometime when I go back to India and when I talk to my villagers back home, like sometimes they give my example to their kids or like, and that thing like kind of motivates me and pump me up, that even though I haven't achieved a lot in my life, but I was able to like be an example at least for somebody in my village back home, that people trust me that I'm doing a good thing for the world at least. So I think never forget your roots, being humble and generous, and always try to help people. Like you will easily gauge people, like if somebody is mean or somebody is just getting or is using you. But at the first place, never judge people. Just try to be humble and be hungry, because one thing in sustainability or in the world that we are on, like everybody want to be progressive and do big things, earn six-figure salary, but that's possible for sure. But always try to be humble in the same way, in side by side. So be humble and hungry at the same time is something that I always try to practice. That be an initiator, don't wait things to just happen. Like be an initiator, ignite it, and then you never know like who can stand next to you. But at the same time, be humble. Like if something doesn't go well, like that's okay, that's part of life, right? You can do something else. So that's what I try to do. Like if somebody, because for example, like in my career journey so far, I came to Canada in 2016 for my master's degree, and it's only been 3 years I've been here. But there were a lot of people in that journey who helped me. and help me to to give the next lead, or like even introducing some people, which kind of help me to progress in a professional setting. And I can't give the back to those people, but I can definitely give forward to other people. Or that's why like the volunteer role that I'm doing, or the mentorship program I'm involved with at University of Alberta, going back to the campus, giving that advice that somebody else gave it to me, which worked for me, or introducing people, or some connections. I think those things are really valuable, and I always feel like, yeah, be generous to people, like be humble.
I want to get a sense of where you can see yourself this time next year, as well as the roles that you will play in making the future that you want to see this time next year.
I see myself like as a connector, because I'm still like very young. I'm not like yeah, I'm not I don't might not have that ability to make decisions, but we still like build a lot of connections and roots. So I see myself as educator or informer or collaborative person who like connect right things. And like if there's a good initiative coming, I would definitely want to be part of that, even if I'm not have that ability or at in a professional setting, but still being part of that initiative by helping it on the background, and helping connect in that so that things can move forward. So that's what I see. Like say next year, until next year, for example, the work that I've been doing volunteer role with Pace Alberta, and now which is transforming to Pace Canada, like initiatives such as which can help our economy, but also can solve problems for greenhouse emission gases, like helping our policymakers to understand the values of those programs, like in a whichever capacity I can get, like even presentation or connections, or I can help people or reach out to the right people. I think that's what I probably will be doing more ground level work for next year. Like yeah, just helping, because things don't happen immediately in sustainability world. Like it takes time, and to change policies, it's an administrative process. And as I mentioned, like nobody right away want to get a change, because like we as humans, we tend to fall in like a easy way platform, which you just want to get things done as a routine platform, right? So I would say like yeah, doing more that ground level work, educating, informing, and connecting right people. What's something that I look forward in 2020 to be part of all these things, that we can, if we are bringing a change, it's a right change, and in a very collaborative way, so that we don't leave people behind. Because if one group is behind, then we are still like not making a progressive decision, because if everybody has to be part of this.
Now, if we were to extend that timeline, let's say to 5 years or as far ahead as you can possibly foresee with the things that you're doing today, what exactly does that look like? What does that future look like?
So far, like after completing my graduation, it's only been 1.5 years I've been working. So I'm still in my early phase of my career and learning a lot. So I definitely, for next couple of months or years, want to make it more sound and strong foundation, so that when we present something, or like bring an idea or something to table, that people trust you, and that happens through experience and being part of those discussions. So for next 5 years professionally, I see myself in a project manager role professionally, where I am helping right projects to do progress in a right way, because I love to work with people. And personally, I feel like yeah, being part of the discussion, and if there is a like initiative which passes the ideation phase, and then helping it properly implement. For example, the work that Pace Alberta is doing, or Pace Canada is doing, just to implement policies which can remove financial barriers to upgrade old houses or old properties, so that they reduce less greenhouse emission gases, but we can also bring private investments, or just always using public money, or relying on fundings. So making those things happen in a long term progression, that's something I see myself. Or if it's not like, because I am always like find myself, I my skill set is I always try to sometimes can handle multitasking, juggling multiple things, and if one of those 9 things that I'm juggling works fine, I'm happy to leave, uh, or put on the back burner some other things, so that at least one thing completes its journey. So I'm very entrepreneurial in making some things happen sometime. So uh, being to a project manager role and helping things get completely done and meet the end needs is something I see myself for next 5 to 6 years. And personally, I would say I will be getting married. I come from India, and my mom definitely want me to get married, so emotionally more stable and be more healthy in my personal life, maintaining the same workout routine so that you can keep things doing in the long run and not leaving those personal goals behind. So that's what I see for next 5 to 6 years. I don't plan beyond 5 years for myself because things can radically change. And that's something actually I've learned when I started my master's degree at University of Alberta, that things get radically changed and you have to be very flexible to adapt to things. So I come from a chemical engineering background where I used to work in oil and gas and petrochemicals. But when I started my master's at University of Alberta, I got to know, wow, sustainability has such a huge potential and how much we can achieve just by retrofitting or fixing existing buildings. So I changed my career path to buildings. So that's what I feel like, being more agile and flexible. So if you just kind of gauge the market, and if you see that this is something in the future, just join that and make yourself comfortable, and there will be people who will help you on the journey to help you navigate. So that's what I kind of always try to see, that be more flexible, and an advice that I give to sometimes to students or people who are just graduating, that just try to be flexible. You never know where things can end up, and that's something happened to me after completing my master. Like, I completely changed my career path because I realized the value that what sustainability can mean, and how it can radically change the economy and at social level. So that's something I see, like, in future, like for next 5 years, that completing all those initiatives, making them help them achieve those tangible keystones in next 5 years. Like, and then you never know where you end up.
I want to know if there's any specific content out there, whether it be a book or an audiobook or a podcast or any kind of content that you can look back on and say, wow, that was a pivotal piece of content that really changed the way that I acted and thought about. It could be just your career, but also, as we've seen, it can bleed through to everything in your life. So just wondering if there's any standout content that should be on my radar.
Yeah, so in terms of content, I would recommend, like, people even who are not directly working in sustainability field, just take some learnings. Or there are lots of courses available on LinkedIn or free platform as like there on Udemy, on sustainability as a whole, because that's something which actually changed my career path. There was like one extra course that I took. It was just over a weekend class for 2 weeks, just on Saturday and Sunday at University of Alberta. I took leading sustainability at work. That was like the course which was offered through continuing education and was not part of my degree. And I got to know that as part of the regular mailing list, being part of a student at UFA. And I say, okay, a lot of people talk about sustainability, but what does it really mean? Because coming from a chemical engineering background, I never thought that broad, being just taking regular courses. But when I took that weekend class just for 2 days, I got to know, like, at very high level, oh, sustainability doesn't mean just helping the environment, but it can also be socially or economically. So I think though that particular weekend class like opened or broadened my horizon, that I was more informed. So I would definitely encourage if somebody who is looking into getting into this as a career, as an interest, that take some there are so many resources available. You don't have to go to an MBA in sustainability. There's so many cheap or free courses available on LinkedIn or other websites. Take that opportunity to see. Just spend 1 hour. Don't if it's valuable to you, maybe spend some money. But yeah, always try to get something done in a cheapest way if you can done, and just to gauge your interest. Check out some online courses. Hear some speakers like what they talk about sustainability, and if it interests you, definitely it's worth getting connected with those people and then analyzing and seeing whether that's something that you would like to do. So, like in Alberta or even at University of Calgary, there are a lot of extracurricular courses that students can take in their regular degree just to expand their horizon on sustainability. So I would definitely recommend students to check out their universities or institutions to see what extra is offered, which is outside their domain, because that way when you learn something else you can always bring it back or bring your learnings and be an outsider to apply and solve a problem. So check out some of those resources and see what you can gain value from that, and if not, you at least will gain some knowledge or meet some people. So yeah, go a little extra step than other people who are just in the regular domain, and that way there might be extra opportunities or additional opportunities which can open for you.
How do you recommend or promote the interdisciplinary approach to sustainability?
Currently, I'm a I work on sometime energy management projects, or and I'm like a certified energy manager, helping projects to be more energy efficient. And that's not very different than I would say traditional industries. So when I used to work for oil and gas, we always used to look for opportunities how we can save money, how can we conserve energy, and it's a kind of same thing but a different process. So now, previously I used to work for big facilities or industries. Now it's small scale buildings. The process is similar, right? So always try to see what are some of the synergies, and I love what like oil and gas and how efficient the processes have moved from like say 20, 50 years back, how much improvement or how much innovation we have done. But at that time when I was transitioning from UFA, I found there are huge opportunities in buildings, because not many people at that time when I graduated knew about this industry, and I kind of gauged that this is a kind of field that I can go and maybe quickly adapt and do changes, because there was no traditional degree in sustainability in buildings. So, and coming from a chemical engineering background and knowing all those processes helped me apply those skill set to the building industry that I work right now. But like if somebody is looking for a change, always see what, because project management or people management or like skills that are same. Like there is nothing different when you come to a different field. It will be either a small change in the process, or the HVAC system or the compressor will be much smaller, or like it will be something similar. It won't change radically. So just try to find those synergies and how people can adapt and see what they can learn and what they already have their skill set, and then see if a new field is growing. If somebody is interested in renewables, how you can still apply those learning from oil and gas or petrochemicals to that new field. You can always find ways, and there are not many. If you closely look, there won't be much differences. The differences will be at the deliverable state, like in the final product, but the process will be similar. You still will be going to the same project initiation to project planning, everything will be similar, hardly any changes. The end product might be slightly different. So always, like, if somebody is looking into getting into more sustainability related career field, I would say try to find out some of the synergies and see what are some of the overlaps and what are some of the differences. And then if that interests you, why not try it out? There is no harm. You can always become practical and go back and do the same thing. But at least if you're passionate about something, try it out. You never know, you might like it.
Yeah.
So there's like, yeah, just try it out and figure out, right? And like, I think now with the use of technology, learnings are so easy. Like, you can learn wherever you are, and you have more a wider network that people can help you. So try it out and see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, you find it can totally transformation your career, and as well also help us progress as society, that we are now doing, not just thinking about profit, but we are now part of a bigger journey and leading a change or being part of that movement, so that we can use our resources in a more sustainable way. So try it out, and you never know where things can end up.